What's going on, gentlemen? It's me, Truck. Long time no see. I've been posting, but you haven't seen my face in a while. But how you doing? Happy Coronavirus Day. Well, one, I want to encourage you guys not to be fearful of this coronavirus. But just be precautious. Just wash your hands. Don't touch your face, just like they're saying on the news and all the doctors and all the professionals. But be encouraged. We're going to have some time in the home with our families, and try. You don't want to get cabin fever. So, with your family, you may have some family members or children that kind of get on your nerves. So, we know this ahead of time. So, try to make this transition time in America with your family a good one. Don't get into arguments with your wife, even though you had ongoing problems with her. Don't get into beef with your brother, your sister, your little brother, your little sister, because I see I have some young people here. Don't get in arguments with your husband, because, of course, I have ladies that subscribe to my channel. And just enjoy the time, Get some card games. I see that a lot of the stores, our shelves are empty. Like, man, I was like, wow, this is like bare bones up in here, right? But get some card games. Go to the toy store, find some board games. Because they're saying we might be up in the house in the crib for about what, 2 to 8 weeks. That's 2 whole months. Then if you can, go for a ride. Get the family together. Go for a drive. Find other things that you could do. That will keep you from going stir crazy up in the house. Now that was my beginning. Now what I want to talk to you guys today, because I was thinking about it. It's kind of funny when I think about wannabe gangsters or gangsters. You know what I'm saying? Years ago, when I was actually out there before Christ and all that, I had a friend of mine that we were actually roommates. Well, we went to high school together, Camden High School. We were also roommates at Glassboro State College. And so we had both dropped out for different reasons. So we're on my front step when I was living in Camden. And basically, what it was is he had a nephew that was being spoiled. His nephew was being raised by his mother, who was a social worker. She had education, all that stuff. She had decent income and everything. And she was being raised by her, but he was going to private school, Catholic school. So he really didn't have too good a relationship with the kids in his community, and because of that, they saw that he's getting off the bus with Catholic school clothes. He wasn't that respected in Pollock Town in Camden, So basically, he was the type of kid that went to parochial school, came home, did his homework, and stayed in the house. So he was never a gangster. Matter of fact, one time, his uncle, my boy, came to my house. He was like, yo, man, somebody stole my nephew's bike. And, me, I knew everybody. I knew everybody that was stealing everything. And, because I was out there. I was working, but I was out there. People knew who I was. So I said, okay. I asked him, I went to his nephew's house, and I asked him, well, what do they look like? I said, oh, I know them. And we went riding around, me and the kid's uncle. So we found the guys, and I actually knew the kid that stole the bike. And honestly, it was like 10 of them. It was, even if he wanted to fight to keep his bike, he'd have got black eye, kicked in the ribs. They'd trashed him. So I basically said, hey, man, put the bike in my trunk. Put it in my trunk. At the time, I had a 1979 LTD white, man. It was nice, man. It was a gift, right? And it was like I looked like some old time mafia mobster in it, right? I used to ride around with my Dominican friends blasting Spanish music, you know what I'm saying? So basically, we went to get the bike, and I told the kid's name was Tashin. And I said, Tashin, come on with me, man. I want you to apologize, and and everything like that. So we went back to the house. We returned the bike, and the kid he apologized because Tashin was little. But he was no joke. He was a tough kid. He'd go up in your grill real fast. And my boy's nephew was kind of tall, but Tashin wasn't alone. He was, and Tashin is aggressive. So that was not a good mix, right? So he apologized, but unfortunately, my boy all of a sudden grabbed up Tashin, started shaking him. because he was mad. I'm like, yo, why did you do that? So I broke him up and said, why did you do that? You got the bike back. He apologized, and they're not going to bother him again because they know me, right? So, but the saddest thing, the funniest thing, the most horrible thing about this is that my boy's mom, his grandma, who of the nephew who was basically raising him, right? She moved out to the suburbs now to keep him from that environment, which is cool. A lot of black families do that. If they have a kid that's getting close to the teenage years, I think the kid was probably about 13, 14 at the time. So we move our kids out to the suburbs so they don't have to get caught up into that bravado. So that's what she did. But unfortunately, this kid that got his bike stolen by a guy that's like this little, went out to the suburbs and started leading a gang. He became the biggest mobster in this suburb. I'm like, the boy's uncle called me up one day. He said, "Yo, you don't believe what this cat is doing out here." And I said, "Whoa, are you serious? You mean the dude that got punked by this midget? Are you serious?" You know what I'm saying? And I said, "You want me to go talk to him?" Because I would have went to talk. I wouldn't have just talked to him at his grandma's house. I would have went to wherever he's hanging out at, and I'd have blew his spot up. I said, "Look, yo, I saved you from a midget. I would have blew him up." So, what I want you to be cognizant of, some dudes that live in the inner city or from the inner city. We had this conversation. We used to have this conversation when I was in college at Glassboro State College, and I told these guys they were from the Bronx, they were from Patterson, they were from Brooklyn, and all that on campus. And I told there's always two types of people from the hood. The first guy is out there in the street, right? Not afraid of nobody. The second guy is in the house with 20 locks on his front door. And that night, as soon as the night comes down, he runs right in the house and locks all 20 locks. Straight down. There's two types of people from the hood. Because the majority of people in the hood work hard. If you go down to any hood in Chicago, I don't care where it is, during the day won't be hardly any cars on the street. That's because these people are working, and even they work all shifts, first, second, and third. There's only 1% of the hood that is dangerous. Camden is right now is about 75,000 people. When I was living there, it's about 125. Right now, out of that 75,000, about 750 people in that city are dangerous. So when somebody black comes out to your neighborhood, and it's normally because the parents or family, they have the income to afford to live where you live. That's the first thing. Two, they're looking for a better environment for their kid to go to school in and act right. So this kid that comes into your community, if he starts to act tough, he may not be tough. So don't feed into it. Guys like that, I can't stand them. You know what I'm saying? They're wannabes, never worse, and can't possibly be unless they move to the suburbs where, people in the suburbs fear them. Why? What for? His parents are probably a teacher, a correction officer, and all that. And all of a sudden, he John Gotti's Jr., the Black John Gotti. So, be in peace. I'm going to do a live stream. I'm going to be live streaming more often since we'll all be home, right? So, be in peace in Jesus' name. God bless you.